guys, it's me again. Yeah, we are on Vanuatu and South Africa. So I want to get the longest one out of the way with, which is South Africa. So here goes. Over 100,000 years ago, people in what is now South Africa lived as hunter-gatherers, kind of things, and used stone tools. And about 2,000 years ago, people in the West west of South Africa learned to herd sheep and cattle and all. In about 200 AD or CE, people mixed farming, like growing crops as well as raising livestock, and iron tools were introduced into the east of South Africa. And at the end of the 15th century, the Portuguese sailed to the Cape of Good Hope. However, it was not until 1652 that the Europeans founded a colony in South Africa, and in 1652 the Dutch, led by Jan van Riebeeck, founded a base where ships travelling to the Far East could be supplied. And from 1658 the Dutch imported slaves into South Africa, while the first Europeans traded with the native people. It soon fell out, and in 1658 they fought the first of many wars to come. And gradually the Dutch colony in South Africa expanded, and in 1688 French Huguenots, or Protestants, arrived fleeing religious persecution. So the native people were driven from land, and in 1713 many died in a smallpox epidemic. And in 1795 British captured Cape Colony, or South Africa, as they handed it back to the Dutch in 1603, but took it again in 1803 and took it back in 1806. And in 1814 a treaty confirmed British ownership of Cape Colony. In 1812 the British founded Grahamstown. In 1820, and as 4,000 Britons were granted land by the Great Fish River, as the Boers, or Dutch settlers in South Africa, resented British rule, and slavery was abolished in 1834. They were antagonised still further, and finally the Boers began mass migrating away from the British, called the Great Trek. And in 1838 the Boers forced and defeated the Zulus at the Battle of the Blood River. Eventually the Boers founded two republics away from British, Orange Free State and Transvaal, in 1850s, as the British recognised the two Boer republics. The situation changed, and by 1869 when diamonds were found in North Cape. In 1871 rolled around, diamonds were also found at Kimberley, and then gold was also discovered in 1886 in Gauteng. However, in 1873 the British fought the Zulus in South Africa, as the British were badly defeated by the Zulus, the Isandlwana, but they were on the war went on to win the war. And increasingly the British were keen to bring all of South Africa, including the Boer republics, under their control, and in 1884 the Lesotho became a British protectorate, and the Kingdom of Swaziland became a protectorate as well in 1894. While British settlers had moved into Transvaal Republic, the Boers called them Uitlanders, or foreigners. The Cecil Rhodes was the Prime Minister of British South Africa from 1890 to 1895, and in 1895 he plotted a rebellion by the Uitlanders in Transvaal, which would be supported by force from South Africa led by Linda Starr Jameson, as they aim was to overthrow the government of Paul Kruger, the president of Transvaal. However, the Jameson raid of January 1896 was defeated by the Boers, and Jameson himself was captured, as the two Boer republics formed an alliance, and hostility between them and the British only grew. And finally, in October 1899, the war in South Africa between the Boers and the British began, and at first the Boers were successful, but in 1900 more British troops had arrived, and the Boers were pushed back, as the Boers then turned to guerrilla warfare. At Kitchener, the British commander began herding Boer women and children into concentration camps, where it is believed that more than 20,000 people died of disease. And the Boers finally surrendered in 1902, and the British annexed the Boer republics, and in 1910 United South Africa was given a constitution, and it became known as the Union of South Africa. And from the start, black people were more second-class citizens in Africa. Most lived in tribal reserves, and laws of 1913 and 1936 prevented them from owning land outside certain areas, as most blacks were not allowed to vote. In 1912, the black South Africans founded a South African National Congress, later the ANC, but at first they achieved little. And in 1914, South Africa joined the First World War against Germany, and that year there was a rebellion by the Boers, which was crushed. And in 1918, was like the Dutch settlers known as Afrikaners, found a secret organisation called the Broederbond, also known as translated into Brotherhood. Please know if I said that wrong. And in 1939, South Africa joined the Second World War against Germany again, but some of the Afrikaners were opposed to the decision. And in 1948, the National Party came to power in South Africa, as the party introduced a strict policy of apartheid or separateness, as they were already segregated, but it was to a large degree, and it was made a lot more strict. However, in 1995, organisations representing black people, white people, coloured and Indians formed a Congress alliance, and in 1955 they adopted the Freedom Charter, yet divisions soon occurred. Like in 1958, some black South Africans broke away from the ANC, and they formed the Pan-Africanist Congress, or PAC. They were led by someone called Robert Sobukwe. In 1960, both the ANC and PAC planned demonstrations against the past laws, which restricted the movements of the black people. And on the 21st of March 1960, Sobukwe led thousands of people in demonstrations, and in Sharpeville the police fired at them, killing 69. The government banned the ANC and the PAC as a result, as Nelson Mandela was sentenced to life imprisonment in 1963. But 2 years before that, in 1961, South Africa left the Commonwealth and became a republic. And in 1966, Minister Hendrik Verwoerd was assassinated. And after that, it was quiet for the next 10 years, till 1976, although there was still some tension between the white people and others, as rioting began in Soweto on the 16th of June 1976. As the riots spread and continued into 1977, in 1978 a P.W. Botha became Prime Minister. He was determined to continue apartheid, and in 1983 he introduced a new constitution with a tricameral parliament with houses of white, coloured and Indians, with no representation for the black people. However, the new constitution pleased nobody. Meanwhile, other countries were increasingly imposing economic sanctions on South Africa. But as apartheid has been heavily resisted, as a resistance to the apartheid had steadily grew. In 1989, Botha was forced from office, and he was replaced by de Klerk, who in 1990 pledged to end apartheid. He released Nelson Mandela as de Klerk introduced a new constitution with rights for all, as the first democratic elections were held in 1994. Nelson Mandela was elected president. He later retired in 1999. In the early 21st century, the economy of South Africa grew, but has recently started to slow down, as South Africa does suffer from high unemployment, as the country also suffers from widespread poverty, as tourism within the country is an important industry, but there is also a lot of minerals deposits, and the population is about 56 million.
Sorry, what do you say? She's just about to get out. Come on.
Sorry. The population of South Africa is heterogeneous, falling into 4 linguistic categories. The largest is the Nguni, including various peoples who speak Swati, primarily the Swazi people, as well as those who speak languages that take the names of their peoples by whom they are primarily spoken, like the Ndebele, Xhosa and Zulu, like Xhosa language and Zulu language, as they constitute more than half a large majority of the country. And yeah, there's ways that kind of fair skin white people like me fall into 2 main language groups, as more than half of them are Afrikaans speakers, as they are descendants from mostly Dutch, French and German settlers, as the remainder consists largely of English speaking, who are descended mainly of the British colonists, although there are sizable minorities of Portuguese and Italians, as well as some others. Yes, there's 11 languages that have official status under the 1996 Constitution. An additional 11, some of those that hold official status are Afrikaans, English, Ndebele, Pedi, Sotho, Swati, Songa, Tswana, Benda, Xhosa and Zulu. So yeah, those were 11, and 11 additional are promoted and are developed on, Arabic, German, Greek, Gujarati, Hebrew, Hindi, Portuguese, Sanskrit, Tamil, Telugu and Urdu. And all languages are spoken in varying and varying degrees in different regions. In some rural areas, most residents speak neither Afrikaans nor English, but those two languages allow for communication in most parts of the country, as English appears to predominate to an increasing extent in official, educational and formal business spheres, which reflects a shift away from Afrikaans as a predominant language in government. Then moving on to legends. South Africa is a rich country in history and culture, containing some of the world's oldest archaeological sites, and has accumulated in a series of myths and legends that may reflect on the country's personality. Due to the number of civilizations which inhabit South Africa, there's an endless variety of stories to be told, from kind of like the Zulu mythology to Zan religion. The first of all, this is Van Hunk's legend, as he was apparently a 18th century sea captain who decided to retire and live on Table's Mountain with his wife. Every day he would climb the top of the mountain and smoke his pipe and admire the beautiful views. One day, Van Hunk climbed to his usual smoking spot and surprised to see a strange man already sat there, smoking a pipe. As the stranger challenged Van Hunks to a smoking contest, which he gladly agreed to, as Van Hunks was victorious, much to the stranger's dismay. But the strange man turned out to be the devil himself, and being angry for losing, and he disappeared, taking Van Hunks with him. I feel sorry for the wife. As today there's a thick cloud that hangs above Table Mountains, which said to be left over from Van Hunks and the contest against the devil. So yeah, don't smoke, kids, don't smoke. Yeah, and the second one is two roads overcame a hyena, as one day a hungry hyena came across a fork in the road with two separate paths, each leading to two goats caught in the thickets. And unable to choose a path, the hyena decided it would tread the left path with its left legs and walk along the right path with its right legs. However, the paths grew further away from each other, and hyena was eventually split in half. As the two roads overcame the hyena is a well-known African proverb, meaning to encourage people to choose a path and commit to it, otherwise they will be stretched too thin, like the hyena. And it's like, as sometimes you do have to be assertive in choosing it. And the third and final is the Gargorib. As the myth of the Gargorib, sorry for botching it and all that, originates from the San religion, which consists of various indigenous hunters of South Africa. As a Gargorib is a beast who attempts to lure people into its pit by tricking them to throw rocks at it. However, the stones always bounce back from the creature's hide, and the caster falls into the pit. And when the Haitsi Ebib, who was the hero of the story, meets the beast, he refuses to throw the stone and instead waits until Gargorib is turned. When Gargorib isn't looking, Haitsi Ebib casts his rock, sending the beast tumbling into its own pit. In another version, Gargorib repeatedly tries to throw Haitsi Ebib into the pit, but he always manages to escape. And Haitsi Ebib ends up throwing Gargorib into the pit, as other versions of the story, as Gargorib means the spotted one, which could refer to the Labrador cheetah, which are known for kind of being cunning in other tales and all that. Because yeah, that is South Africa for you, and I'll see you very soon. So, bye for now.